All right, we're on the air.
I call to order the zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for June 17th, 2025 at 7:32 p.m. Call to order and statement of compliance. Adequate notice of this meeting hearing has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting/hearing dates on the municipal bulletin board, by sending a copy of to the Echo Sentinel, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. Standard board procedures. Any meeting/hearing conducted by the board is a quasi-judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to judicial meeting/hearing must be maintained at all times. Meeting cutoff. Announcement is made that, as a matter of procedure, it is the intention of the Zoning Board of Adjustment not to continue any matter past 10:30 p.m. at any regular or special meeting of the board unless a motion is passed by the members then present to extend the meeting to a later specified cutoff time. Electronic devices. All in attendance are asked to mute or turn off their phones or electronic devices as to not interrupt the proceedings. Pledge of Allegiance. Would you lead us, please?
Proudly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call.
Absolutely. Mr. Romeo.
Here.
Mr. Giannakis is excused this evening. Mr. Rosenberg is excused this evening. Mr. Watts is excused this evening. Mr. Zadrozny.
Here.
Mr. White.
Here.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf.
Here.
Chairman Correct.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I was advised that we don't have meeting minutes, so we're not going to deal with those. But we do have two of the resolutions to look at. They were just put on the dais just now. The first one is Brian Oliveira, application number 25-03. No, I'm sorry, that's the second one. First one is 2242-230 Main Street, LLC, application number 21-03Z.
Mr. Chairman, I think you guys heard from the applicant's attorney on this, Mr. Zelli,
Yeah.
last month, and this
No,
is
this
just,
is the extension request.
Yeah, this is the extension.
This is
request.
not Riseborough.
Right.
no, but no, didn't he come in last month to discuss the extension they were seeking?
Yeah,
Yeah, we never did a resolution.
Right, so I was.
yeah,
so I
but
was
we
saying-
did hear from him,
Yeah,
yes, okay.
Yeah, so this is just be memorializing, I think the board
Right.
acted last time.
Right, and everybody was here that's here now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Is there any changes, comments on, or any reason why is everything at the right, okay? Go ahead.
I have one question. Just to be clear, this is the third and final one-year extension? Because it says in '22 we did this, we approved 3 one-year extensions.
Well,
I think this is the 3 one-year extensions.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a matter of procedure because they do not have sewer yet.
right.
Uh-huh. Right.
So they do not have sewer, so the attorney just felt just to cover,
Yeah.
legally.
Right, so that they're not
And how far
precluded.
out does this take them to? Next year?
An additional
February,
year, to
1
the
year.
end of the year.
Good,
And
yeah.
if for any reason there's no sewer connection,
We'll do it
at
again.
that time, they'll come back again.
Okay. This should happen.
Come back again for,
An extension.
Extension,
so is it,
Well-
is it infinite extension if there's no sewers?
Yes.
yes.
Yes and no.
Can't,
Does
can't
our
Yes
do
and no,
what
yeah.
we wanted them to.
I mean, because it's
Chris,
not,
do you agree with that?
Yeah, so here's,
Yeah.
yes and no. So there's a provision in the MOU, I think it's section 26, don't quote me, that automatically tolls things when, there's an applicant can't move forward because of things outside of their control, right? Now there's an automatic procedure for that, but there's also an elective procedure where they can come to the board and request an extension. That's what they're doing
Couldn't
here.
they put in a septic system?
That
They weren't
happens.
approved for
That's
one.
like
That
an
occurs.
alternative.
They weren't approved for one.
Yeah.
They'd have to come back to us to be approved for it.
Do we approve that? Is that a variance or is
Yeah.
that through the Board of Health?
Well, it would have been part of their variance because they would have showed us where they were gonna put it, and it was, it has to go through if it could even be put on the property.
They didn't want a septic system.
Right, they didn't want-
I know they don't want one, but I'm saying, I want to know how it works. If you could just
Yeah.
have.
Go ahead.
Like forever, you can just get a rollover because you don't have a sewer.
So you're
At
entitled
some
to,
point, do you get to review the application again?
well, you're entitled to 3 one-year extensions.
Right.
And all this is, what they're seeking an extension of, at least as I understand it, is the rights conferred by major site plan approval. So that's like if the ordinance changes, let's say today, we can't suddenly hold them to that new standard.
Right.
But, so as long as they keep getting these extensions, that's what they're getting protected from. They still would have site plan approval, so theoretically, if they run out of the extensions, there's an argument to be made they still have site plan approval, as long as the ordinance hasn't changed, they're not,
Okay.
nothing's really expired.
If the ordinance changes, they have to come and,
If they're out of
reapply.
extensions and they're still tolling, then yes,
okay.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Again, it's all
Just wanna know
very
how it
fact
works.
specific, but yeah, that's the
And this
general-
is not something they have control of either.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but if the sewer is never fixed,
That's
don't
not
know.
supposed to be the issue.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I know.
What if, we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, roll call?
I'll make the motion to approve
Okay, motion,
21-03Z.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Aronio?
Yes.
Mr. Zadrozny?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf?
Yes.
Chairman Grant?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now, we have the second one is Brian Oliveria and Allison Oliveria, application 25-03Z. This was a hearing on May 20th, 2025, board action on May 20th, 25, memorialization today, June 17th, 2025. Is there any comments, changes, or corrections to these?
They can read right now.
Yeah,
I am not eligible for this one.
okay. All right, I don't see anything that jumps at me. Did you have a chance to review it?
Oh, I did it.
You did it?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't make any mistakes, did you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, this went back and forth. Liz saw it, applicant's
All right,
counsel
okay.
saw it,
All right.
Joe saw it.
No typos? Okay.
I don't think so.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Zadrozny?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
And Chairman Grant?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Take care of that. So, the next thing on the agenda is bulk variances. Block 12203, Lot 13, Zone R3, 24 Vicky's Place. Application number 25-06Z. Matthew and Allison Filick, F-I-L-I-K. Applicant proposes to construct an addition to a single-family residence. I assume that everyone's here. Okay, have a seat.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the legal aspects of it.
Just real quick, we didn't have Risberg ever distributed
No,
them? Okay, all right.
no,
I'm sorry, what?
The resolution for Risberg,
no, it wasn't.
we didn't get that one?
No, that was the one that Fred Zelli gave you changes and you didn't email that one to me.
Oh, I thought okay.
We'll do
All right,
that.
what? We'll get it next time. I swear I did that one. I'm getting them confused for too many. Okay, Filick. Give me 1 second, folks, someone just check.
Take your time.
Okay. So, yeah, Mr. Chairman, before we get started, I did review their notice. I find it to be sufficient in terms of its content. Deb confirmed, and we both confirmed that everything was sent out on time, sent to owners of property within 200 feet of the subject property on June 6th, published in the Echo Sentinel on June 5th, both more than 10 days in advance of this evening's hearing, so the board has the jurisdiction to decide the case. With that, I could swear everybody in
Good.
before we get going. Okay, so I'm going to need Liz, our board planner, and the three of you, if you're all going to be testifying, raise your right hands. To all four of you, swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Great. They're sworn, Mr. Chairman, and we can,
All right, would you introduce
back to you.
yourselves, please?
My name's Alexander Rodriguez from AR Architects LLC. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey.
Okay,
Matthew Phillick, one of the homeowners.
okay. When you do talk, try to get the microphone
sorry.
in front of you or at least close to it, because we can hear you, but the record has to hear you.
Perfect.
Okay, let me qualify your expert. Would you just go over your credentials for us?
Sure, I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey, been licensed since 2005. I have appeared before this board in January of this year, and just recently also appeared in the city of Summit in March of 2025 as well.
And since the last time you appeared before us, your license is current, no changes?
It is current,
Okay,
yes.
I deem you as qualified, thank you. All righty, so who wants to go first?
What do you need?
Well, just explain to us
Yeah.
what are you doing and the reason behind it and what you need it?
Perfect. So we moved into the house in Millington in January of 2019 out of a smaller townhouse in Bedminster. Was just the two of us. Couldn't have imagined at ever needing more space than we had. Went from a small townhouse to this house, which seemed astronomical at the time. And 2 kids later, and wife who works from home, we've seemingly somehow started to shrink on space. One of the bedrooms that runs the full width of the house is significantly cut off by a very, very steep roof. So there's a large amount of space in a right side of the house that is unusable. It serves as somewhat of a crawl space, but essentially dead area. In the effort to add an additional bedroom for an office or future children, the goal was to take a very steep roof and essentially just flatten it with some sort of dormer so that we could take one large room that is probably 30% unusable at the moment, make it into 2 more distinct rooms, one office and one either guest room or third child bedroom.
Yeah, I walked through your neighborhood, I saw that. The houses look big, but you're right, the steep roof kind of cuts off your space.
Yeah, it's very strange. And then with the way the garage sits, we kind of lose a lot of space there, and it's unnecessary in a sense. Looks nice, but
Could you explain for us the relief that's required to do that?
when we purchased the house, it was the first time we moved out of a townhouse that kind of you just bought as is, and the association took care of a lot of the rules and regulations. So when we bought this house, we weren't 100% sure of the things to look out for, and unbeknownst to us, there had been a lot of work done without permitting. We didn't know the process to go through to look for those things. So there was some ground coverage. We found out later after we submitted the permits with the construction company and the architect that there was some things that we needed to look at, one of which was some additional coverage. Yeah.
Okay.
So all of that was there when we moved in. There's a shed, a pool, a deck, a paver patio, all of which existed when we purchased the home.
So to correct that and then move forward with the fixing to the house.
Understood. So you need this, the past to be cleared up so you can get an approval for your
Yeah,
construction.
because
Okay.
the project we're doing actually doesn't change the footprint of the house. It doesn't
that's
cover
kind of
any
why I'm
other.
asking.
Yeah, it doesn't cover anything new.
Okay.
It's the same existing footprint that exists today. So it's really just we kind of need to take the things that the past homeowner did without approval that we were unaware of and get them brought up to the current.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions for the applicant?
I have.
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening. Have you any problems, water problems or flooding in the area or neighbors? Any runoff problems?
No, so actually the back of our yard has a drainage runoff that is part of the town.
Yeah.
So because of that, we've never had any issues whatsoever. It's, minus 47 consecutive days of rain, but no, we
Right,
have no
right.
issues
I
whatsoever.
was gonna
Never
say,
had any.
it was a good time to
Even
test it.
now, yeah.
Right. And you
nothing.
bought the house with the pavers extended and everything. It's been like that. There's been no
Yeah.
water problems or anything.
No water problems. As a matter of fact, we've actually added more grass coverage
Yeah,
since
good.
we've been there. The homeowners were a little bit older with 2 little kids. We
Yeah.
want more grass than anything else just for playtime and things like that. So we've actually added more grass since we took over the home.
Right.
Good.
And
Okay.
the deck and things like that that are there are all porous. So underneath the deck is regular ground. It's not as though they're covered with asphalt or anything like that. Even the paver patio is porous.
Very good. You explained it very well. Thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant?
The deck you said is there, was that there when you bought the house or you? Okay.
All of the decking was there. Yeah, the decking, the pool, and the shed was all there. The only thing we've done is, like I said, add more grass by cleaning up some
Rocks.
rock and things like that.
Making it more of a lawn area.
Correct. Yeah.
Is that in the back?
It is in the back, yeah.
Yeah, your property does have a weird shape to it. Instead of being exactly a rectangle, it's got that line that,
Yeah, there's a very tight corner in the back right of the property that
Yeah.
is a bit strange.
yeah, if your property was more a rectangle, you wouldn't have that issue with the shed.
No, the fence cuts quite narrowly across the property on almost a diagonal.
Yeah. Any, has any of the neighbors expressed any objection or problems with the property?
No, we sent out all the mailers. In fact, the one neighbor next door thought that he needed to come as a witness and had volunteered to come tonight. We told him it wasn't necessary, so,
Okay, well, that's always nice to
Yeah,
get positive.
we like neighbors.
yeah. We were,
That's why we want to be here.
we really need more space and we don't want to move. Our neighbors are terrific. The town is great, so this is kind of our fix to that.
Great. Any other questions of the applicant, of this applicant? Okay.
I heard one more.
Yeah.
What is in your shed currently?
Lots of tools and kids' water tables, toys, cushions. We put both of the cars in the garage, so the shed's incredibly important for all of that
Pool
stuff.
stuff, things like that.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Would you, considering that it's right on the boundary line, would you be amenable to moving it somewhere else on your property?
I'm not really sure the logistics of how something like that would happen. I didn't build a shed, so I'm not sure how tight into the ground it is, if it's something that we can just
Is it
move that
wood?
easily.
Is it wooden shed?
It's vinyl sided. It's
It's
a.
not just like a built up from like a Home Depot or anything, it is a structure.
Yeah.
Structure.
So I don't-
What does it sit on? A pad or?
No, I give you my best recollection. I didn't think to look at that before we came here, but it's set up on some beams so that it's off the ground a bit.
So it's on dirt?
Yes, but raised slightly
Yeah,
off the
it's
dirt.
it's not like on a porch?
No, on a cement pad or anything like that. No, sir.
Is it there because of the accessibility to the walkway, or why do you?
I can't
Okay.
seem to think why he would put it there. I mean, certainly,
Accessibility.
Yeah.
is nice.
seems to make sense. It's right on the walkway. Like you said, it can be accessed from the front yard and the backyard, the house easily.
We don't have a lawnmower or any kind of gasoline or anything within there.
How far is your neighbor's house on the right-hand side?
Oh.
From that fence.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a bit of distance because again, the way that fence cut, our property line almost comes straight back. We had a survey done for this with the markers put in, and the way it comes, their house is quite far over to the side.
Okay, so they're not that near the shed then?
No, they're.
Oh.
In fact, with the way their house is situated, I don't even think they could see the shed.
Oh, okay. All right.
You have a fence up also around the shed.
We do, that's
I see,
correct.
yeah, it's
And how high is the shed, is the fence?
6 feet.
It's 6-foot fence, okay.
pretty,
About how
it's pretty
high a
hid-
fence
It looks
goes,
pretty
yeah.
Okay, so you really can't see it.
No, and there's a lot of mature, beautiful trees there that cover a lot of that as well. So it's not as though they're.
And you have a fence in front of the shed too, I see.
Yes.
We do. The entire backyard is closed off.
Okay, so you really can't see it.
No.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Just, so how far is the shed off the property line? Because we need to quantify it.
I don't know if you would know from the survey.
Looks there from zero.
Yeah.
I mean, I can walk behind it between the fence and the shed.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, certainly.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
when you say walk behind, you would say about 2-3 feet?
As broad as my body.
Okay, say about 2.5 feet?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 feet?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's say 2 feet just to be safe.
okay.
The variances. Are you sure it's 2? Because if it's any less than that, you might need another variance. We want to make sure you. No, I'm serious.
No, I mean,
I would probably say it's closer to a foot.
Yeah.
You know, the fence might not be on the property line, so it's hard to say. But I
I
would
mean,
say
looking at
just
your survey, it looks like it's actually touching the line.
correct. Yeah,
the fence or the shed.
The shed.
Oh,
right. The
I
shed.
need a variance for the shed setback. That's what we're trying to quantify.
But you could walk between the shed and
You can
and
probably
the
shimmy in that
fence.
corner.
so I can walk through as it's wide, and I can turn on the side, I suppose, then and get through the corner.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say a foot.
I would say
Yeah.
a foot.
Just
Better
to
safe
be
than
safe, yeah.
Be safe.
Yeah, that one corner
Okay.
is closer,
this
but
corner.
Yeah,
if you go in the back, that's where we have
A
a more
little-
room. That's
Not,
where
it's not as close as it appears on this, but.
No, you
It's
can.
not-
I can walk through it to point on the side, but you can get through it. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Right now behind there we have
a garbage
like a
can.
garbage can
Okay.
and some things stored, so there's plenty of room there.
Whose fence is that? Yours or your
It's
neighbor's?
ours.
Yeah, I believe it's ours.
Okay.
Yes, that's ours.
And
Yeah, it's true because they have their own fence actually.
Yes.
Okay. You said earlier that you took away some ground cover.
As long as it doesn't go in.
Added some grass.
Added some impervious coverage?
No, we added grass.
Okay. You took away impervious coverage and added grass.
Correct.
Okay, do you know the measurements of that? How much you,
No, so
Probably
behind
about a 5 by 5 area.
where the pavers connect out to the back grass, there had been another section there with some rock and things like that we took down and added grass.
Cement.
It's about 25 square feet.
nothing significant?
No,
No,
no.
no, no.
5 square
We
feet,
didn't
okay.
break down. We didn't take down anything.
got to go back to the shed. How big is the shed?
A 10 by
square?
12.
10 by 12, so 120 square feet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Variance for that.
Had to think about that.
Yeah, on the spot, it's hard.
So that's a variance.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get all your variances now.
Yes,
Save your
that's what
money.
we want to do.
Don't come back.
You don't want-
Yeah.
As much as we'd love to see it.
Yeah, yeah, well.
We love to see you.
Yeah.
I've never been on TV before.
Oh. Don't
That's
worry,
right.
we don't have much of an audience.
Right.
You'd be surprised. When I
Really?
upload the videos on YouTube, there's like 30 views. Somebody's watching.
Oh, ratings are going higher.
Yes.
I gotta tell my wife to stop doing that.
Start selling ads.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we could get more money for the ads.
Yeah, don't read the comments. They're never good.
Any other questions concerning shed or anything else of the applicant before their architect talks? Okay.
No,
All right.
satisfied.
All right. All right. So, as an architect, what are we looking at? Your plans? These are your plans here.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. If you want, you can. All right, where's the easel?
It's well, it's quite I have an
Oh,
easel,
okay.
but.
All right. I'm just saying. Normally we have one here.
Usually bring it out unless somebody else to
Oh,
That's
okay.
quite all right. I don't
because
think
it will walk away.
Okay.
It'll walk away.
That's an impressive easel.
Okay.
Before you start, this is the plan set, originally dated January 28th.
2025.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
No revisions on there, right?
No.
Okay, so the board received this, we have this, so it doesn't need to be an exhibit.
So
Okay.
this is the existing second floor. Okay.
Correct, existing second floor, just showing the demolition plan, all the dashed lines just showing just the room that just Matthew Philippe was describing, just how it's a long, narrow room. We're just trying to take advantage of that. Also, by taking advantage of that is when we decided to add that shed dormer towards the front. This is just the first floor, just indicating the partial first floor where the garage is underneath. And then just how we distributed the space, just to make it a little bit more functional for the second floor, where we added the the shed dormer along the front with a bedroom and a closet. And then we just took advantage of that back room to make an office. Again, I think they're both decent-sized rooms. Again, we were looking to make the bedrooms kind of similar in size, and then the same thing as far as closets, have decent-sized closets for them. And again, an office just to make it a functional space, but again, it's still a decent-sized room where it's about 10 feet approximately by about 14 foot 4 inches. And it also's got a closet in there. And then as far as the front elevation's concerned, we just were popping up the roof to make a little shed, added some windows, and we were just centered that over the 2 bays in the garage below. It's hard to see over some of the windows, but you can see where the shed, well, you can hardly see where the shed is over on the right-hand side where it is behind a 6-foot-high fence that's there as well. Just some of the items of note, just to kind of bring to your attention. This is an R3 zone, which is an undersized lot. We're required to have a 30,000 square foot lot. The existing lot size is 16,679 square feet. So that is an existing non-conforming. Same thing as far as the lot width is concerned. You're required to have 150 feet in an R3 zone. Our lot width is approximately 105 feet at the front yard setback line. And just in regards to the other things that Matthew Philippe had mentioned, as far as the impervious coverage is concerned, they bought the house in 2019 and all the existing impervious coverage was there. And I did mention that the shed is being shielded by the 6-foot-high fence, and that we are looking for that impervious lot coverage. I believe it's 37.2%.
Okay. So nothing you're doing in the future is really affecting any of those things, really? I mean,
Correct.
they're just existing.
Exactly, those are all existing.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Okay, I'll just go throw it out there, whoever can answer it can. This was raised in our planner's memo, Ms. Lehenny's. Is this a density modification subdivision? Were you able to figure that out? Because that kind of dictates.
as far as I was concerned, it wasn't. It's
Okay.
an R3 zone.
Okay,
I think it probably was.
It was a zero lot line, yeah,
It
it had to
was,
be.
which means that some of the things that you think you need variances for, you don't.
Well, it's better to
Because-
get, yeah.
because and that's, I put that in my letter,
Hmm.
some things, and the reason why, because there's an open space that has access
Right.
from the end of Vicky's place, but secondly, which happens to be the minimum acreage that you need in a density modification subdivision. But then also when you start to look, and it's in my letter, you take percentages of what's required in the zone, and the lot meets those standards.
Yeah.
So I think it clearly was.
Jam it all together and.
Yeah, and so that's most likely, I mean, why the lot is so small, given the R3 zone. So I think, given that, although we don't have an idea, I'm not sure that we can verify that, but I think that, you know, a variance isn't required for a lot with the side yard, only one of the side yards is required a variance. But most everything else, the lot coverage is still a variance, and then, of course, the shed.
Yeah.
Is the side yard that you said required because of the shed, or if there was no shed, would that still be required?
It would still be required, and the way the ordinance is, it's a little badly worded, but it says the minimum side yard is at least 10 feet, but it must be like a minimum of 30% or something like that. So it was like unclear whether they actually needed a variance for the 12.5 western side yard, but I think out of an abundance of caution, they should just request it. But, so in any event, and I think that's most likely because it's an, you know, undersized lot, that's probably why the shed is, you know,
Right.
there aren't as many places to put it because the lot is undersized for a typical R3 lot.
Right, for that size house.
Yes.
Right.
Wait, so, I'm sorry, Liz, I'm a little confused. So they need to provide 12.5 feet for a side yard setback for the house or for the shed?
For the house.
Okay.
Which they don't have.
Yeah, the shed.
And 10 feet from the shed?
Yes,
I'm looking at the survey, it says 16 feet from the one property line.
20%.
it's 16, not 12.5. Oh, it's 16. Well, okay, then it's 16. And let me see where that came from. Oh, I see. 16.
Yeah, it's 16 on the west side.
Oh, but what about from the deck?
Oh, the deck.
Yeah.
Oh, because the deck's connected,
Yeah,
gotcha,
'cause
okay.
the deck would be a part of it, so that's most
And the
likely.
pool too.
And the pool.
12 and a half, yeah.
And they're required to, how much there?
17 and a half.
17.5, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then, they're compliant on the east side, even with the addition, that doesn't
Right.
create any kind of vertical
Right.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's not
Okay.
an exacerbation.
Understood,
Right.
thank you.
Any other,
Here's the
do you have any
deck.
other questions?
No, I think the only other question we've raised, because there wasn't a breakdown of impervious coverage, so I don't know, I think we were just in our office wondering what was contributing to the impervious coverage and making sure the pool was included, but we just wanted to double check.
Pool was included, yes.
Okay. That might be helpful as a if the board acts
Right,
favorably.
yeah, to put
Yes.
that in there.
To have that breakdown, for any future modifications to the house or additions or future
Right,
homeowners.
or eliminations of things, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so then just to wrap it up here in a nice bow, the only variances they need are for lot coverage,
Lot coverage in the shed setback,
right to the
Right.
side yard,
but they do need I think a western.
western side yard, because of the deck.
Yes, yeah.
And then the shed size, because it's 120 or
The
100.
size and then the setback, yeah.
Right, so 4 in total,
Hold on a minute.
sorry. Lot coverage,
Yeah,
side yard setback west for the, because of the deck
right,
in the house. The side yard setback to the east because of the shed.
And the
And then
size.
the shed size, 120 where 100 is.
yeah, I think you're right.
Okay,
That's correct.
got it, okay, cool. Just making sure. And then I didn't note any conditions in your memo, Liz, and I don't think heard any conditions suggested this evening, so.
Except for the breakdown.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, we need a more of a detailed breakdown, so.
So you want them to revise the plans to have that, is that, or should?
I
should it be-
guess it's the compliance plans,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay, I'll make that condition. Applicants,
So you'd have to take the size of the pool, the size of the truck's deck, the size of the pavers and all that. That would have to be,
Yeah,
okay.
I have that here if we want to submit it.
I mean, I don't, that's up to Deb. I mean, I don't need it right now. I think it's part of your. Yeah,
I can provide as part of the drawings as well.
yeah.
Fine,
You know,
yeah,
I mean, you could submit it as an exhibit, it might be helpful
Yeah.
for the resolution, then I can,
Right,
I
right,
can
right.
include that one way or another.
yeah, well,
I'll take it,
Yeah,
I can,
Mark.
I can take care of it. Okay, so this will be Exhibit A1. This will be a lot coverage breakdown.
Correct.
Okay. This is, give that today's date, June 17th, right?
Right. exactly what we're asking for, see?
Damn, somebody did their work.
Nice.
You sure this curve's exactly right?
Yeah, that looks great.
I'll smack him.
The pool's
Yeah, that's
green
great.
at the moment. Do you want that in the picture?
Yeah.
This way for my records, because Deb keeps these. That way, when I go to write the resolution, I have it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You can make a copy for you. They have
I don't
copies.
want to bother. Please. She's got enough on her plate.
All right, well, we're looking at that. Any other questions for the applicant or their expert? Okay, having none. Do you, let me just ask you a few preliminary questions. How do you feel that this, as far as positive, negative criteria, how do you feel that this is not negatively affecting the neighborhood that you're doing this addition? Is it gonna have any negative effect on the neighborhood or the town?
No, if anything, we hope that it increases the value of the home and the homes around it.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
are we gonna just talk about the addition, or are we talking about the other stuff that we're approving?
Well, I wanted to first talk about the addition.
Okay.
You know, because that's what they're
Because we have
doing
to look at
different.
Kind of the
negative aspects
Yeah, that's what they're
of the
doing
existing
different.
too, right?
Yeah, the existing is there, but I just want to talk about the
Right,
new stuff right
right.
now. So as far as the addition goes, it's a positive improvement to your house, right?
Yes, sir.
And it doesn't make anything, it doesn't make the house look that much different than all the other houses on the street.
No,
Okay.
some houses in the neighborhood actually have that
Have that
part there
already done.
already.
Okay, so it's basically going to conform to what's already there.
Certainly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As far as the, what's existing with the patios and the pool, have you noticed any other houses that have similar type of arrangements with pools and patios? You know.
We've been in very limited, probably only one or two backyards of the
Oh, okay.
of the neighborhood. I mean,
Okay.
so it's hard to say.
Has, and we went over the fact that you don't have any water runoff
No,
issues.
no issues at all.
You're not, no, a neighbor's not complaining because water's running off of your property onto theirs?
No.
Yes, sir.
And as far as positive, it's, you utilize the paver patio and the Trek deck for your pool and for outdoor activities?
Yep. Just entertaining, spending time with the kids, things like that.
Anything else?
I guess I'll ask a
Yeah.
planning-related question. Would you guys say that the proposal as a whole, everything being presented tonight, would promote a desirable visual environment? It'll improve the streetscape and make it a nice dormer? That's a
Absolutely.
yes? Okay.
Absolutely.
Can I just say, they actually don't need a variance for the addition.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right,
Yeah.
Well, the proposal as a
just-
whole,
Thank you.
though.
Because it's a proposal.
I just want to know about the proposal in itself, you know?
I know, I
that everything-
understand, but they're
everything-
really, they're correcting existing.
I know.
Existing.
But it always is nice to
Yeah.
make sure that everything is
No, I
considered.
gotcha.
I know they don't need a variance for that. All right, any other questions? Anything else? Okay. What, a bug? Oh, squash it.
Pretty significant sized.
Oh, my God.
Someone
Big
Yeah,
ass one. Must be the board.
yeah, it must be, yeah. Hanging out.
It's gone.
All right,
Yeah, he's dead. He can't swim. Dead man tell no tales.
Jerry, would you like to start the
You
deliberations?
have to open it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Public.
Is there any member of the public out there that wishes to ask questions, make comments, or any other way have any comments about this application? I assume that the members of the public are here for the next application.
Yes.
Am I right? Oh, you're from the paper. You're with the press.
Okay.
And you have no comment? Okay. All right, so here, having no other public member except for the applicant who's here for the next one, I'm closing it to the public. Thank you. Okay, Jerry, would you like to?
Sure, I'll start. I think the applicant has been forthcoming with us. They have represented accurately the existing conditions on the property, which are non-conforming, to no fault of their own. Done, a lot of work done without permits, which to me, I'm seeing a trend, quite frankly, and it's concerning. And we, as a board, I think, try to work with our residents and our property owners to make the best of a bad situation every time. But I think they're putting a lot, not you in particular, I think that the current situation is putting a lot on us. There's been several what's called a density modification zone in our town. So we're actually rezoning your property when we do this, which is not what we're supposed to be doing. That's the way I feel. I think that we're going there because we're talking about double the required lot coverage, right? Or the allowed lot coverage. It's
Not
not
quite, but yeah.
insignificant. It's
Yeah.
pretty significant, the coverage. I mean, the small things like the shed, if we really had a peeve, we could ask you to move that. That's like, I think that's the least of our concern here. We're a flood community. We like to have, like, our lot coverage acknowledged by the builders. And I think it's becoming a trend that we see. It's just everyone's over. And it's no fault of yours. People buy houses and that's the existing. So I feel that there's little else we can do because it's not realistic for us to say, dig out your pool, right? You want to put an addition on, fill in your pool and take up your patio. So I think we're making the best of a bad situation in saying yes. So therefore, I would say yes, given those circumstances.
Thank you.
Sure.
Paul?
Yes. I think they explained it all very well, and the architect did a great job explaining everything and drawing everything up, and it was great, the as-built quick survey you had there, that was a great job. I don't, just piggyback off of what Mr. Rainio said, the trend that you see is a lot of these lots are undersized, and you're really stuck with it. You basically inherited these problems. Your lot is 16,600, and you have 20% coverage, right? 20% max coverage. That's like nothing. That's
The
a
house.
That's a wide driveway in your house, and you're done. You're over it. So, again, we like to accommodate and help out all the homeowners, and I feel to approve this, I'm all for it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Alex?
No, I just concur with what Jerry and Paul have been saying, and again, I appreciate that you coming in and setting things right, and more importantly, now we know what's going on, and hopefully we can make things a little bit better as a result of your actions. So I would definitely vote yes.
Tom?
I concur with Mr. Aronio's caution. We have a lot of people who are coming before us looking for some sort of legal resolution for a problem that wasn't theirs, though. And that being your case, and you're doing nothing more than popping up a dormer and keeping your place clean and neat, I see absolutely no objection to this case.
Thank you. I concur with my fellow board members. I think you're doing a nice job with the property. It's the house is a little strange on its roof line, and unfortunately, if it was just for that, you would just need a building permit. But now you have these other issues, and the prior owner kind of just did this stuff without any consideration of lot coverage. If this property was a little bigger, it wouldn't be an issue, but it isn't. So I do concur that, it looks fine. You get the fence. Really, it's not intruding on anyone. It's not, overly obtrusive to your neighbors. So I would be in favor of it. All righty. Do I hear,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion, or you want to sum it up first?
Yeah, you want to just.
Yeah, I'll do a quick one. Yeah, do it again. All right, so 4 variances, both variances, obviously. One for lot coverage, 37.2% proposed, where 20% is the max permitted. Next is the side yard setback of the house attributable to the deck. That's to the western side yard boundary, 12.5 feet proposed, also an existing condition, where 17.5 feet would be the minimum required. Next is for the residential shed side yard setback to the eastern property line, 1 feet proposed, 10 feet required minimum. Then shed size, 120 square feet proposed, again, existing condition, where 100 square feet is the max permitted. The only condition would be that the final compliance plans include a lot coverage breakdown of all the improvements on the property, creating the lot coverage. And that's it.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll move that.
Do I hear a
Second.
second? Okay,
Second was Mr. White.
yes.
Yes.
Roll call,
Mr.
please.
Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Zadrozny?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf?
Yes.
Chairman Grech?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you all so much.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you
Good
Good
guys.
luck with it.
Hey, here you go.
Sure.
This is for you. You probably don't have enough of
Yeah,
those.
you're probably gonna need extra. Here you go, take that with you.
Thank you so much.
All right,
They're
guys.
good to have later on. You're
Yeah,
like,
you
oh,
never
I
know.
wish I had one.
You want to write notes on them or
Put a
whatever?
frame on it.
Thank you,
You
guys.
want these? Do you have enough copies of these?
Of course, of course. Good luck with the addition.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Does anybody need a bathroom break, or you want to continue? You do-
Yeah,
you.
Fine,
Why don't we give
no,
Debbie a break?
well, fine. All right.
Just saying.
Oh, wait, what time is it?
It's,
Just got rid of that one time for this.
12
It
Ave.
is mental health month.
All right,
It's not a mental health, this is
No, I can hear it. It's,
bronchitis,
No.
unfortunately.
is the next applicant ready? Come on up.
We can always pause it to take a break.
Yeah.
That was nice. That was nice giving over.
I turned this microphone off, I apologize.
How many times over?
All right, Mr. Chairman, while everybody's getting situated, I'll just point out for the record.
You've probably done the same.
The applicant here did actually notice for the board's April 15th meeting. They requested an adjournment. We carried them to this evening. No further notice is required. We deemed everything was sufficient back on April 15th, so the board still has the jurisdiction to hear and decide the case.
All righty. Okay, would you swear everybody in, please?
Sure. So I think we have our board planner, Ms. Lehane, and then, sir, I'm assuming you're the applicant?
Yeah, my
I'm going to swear you in as well. This is your attorney, right? Mr. Delitalia, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do the two of you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And
You
I'm
didn't
you
need to,
too.
I didn't need to swear you in.
You don't have to.
We have one of
Yeah,
them.
no.
Yeah.
John P. Delitalia and Santola, Orange, New Jersey, appearing for Mr. DeFinis.
Thank you. Would you like to give us a little rundown of what you're presenting?
Yes. First, I'd like to thank Ms. Kuntz, who's been very cooperative, and you guys have an excellent board secretary here. This was a little bit of a different type of case, because we also have the municipal court case, that's pending also, and contingent upon, what happens here. But she's been very helpful. I've been practicing 45 years, and very rarely do I run into, secretaries of the Board of Adjustment that really respond.
Thank you for letting
She
us know
started
that.
to tear
I
up.
appreciate that.
Look, she stopped coughing.
She stopped
Yeah, you
coughing.
already
You're gonna give her a big head stop.
I'm not trying to be a brown noser, but
No, we know, we appreciate her.
Okay, I want to make first perfectly clear, the accessory apartment that you mentioned, you probably saw through the history.
What are we doing here with this static? Anybody?
You know,
Okay.
right there?
Yeah, where'd that come from? Hold on a second, we wanna make sure we got it on the record. 70, all right?
Mine are off. These two are off.
Yeah,
Oh, can
something,
we isolate what's causing it?
It's not me.
I think it's fine.
He's got it.
it's yours?
I don't know why.
Okay, all right, okay.
You guys don't need to
Did
get
it
this.
stop?
Stop playing.
Okay, all right, go ahead. We wanna make sure the record
Yeah,
is screwed up, go ahead.
The accessory apartment that was
Oh.
originally started
Oh,
this
the phone there,
ball
yeah.
rolling, so to speak, was used by my client's mother. She's deceased. They have been living in the house. She had been living in the house with them. So that's not a variance that we're seeking today. We're not seeking any D variance. What we're seeking is, first, the impervious lot coverage. What's permitted is 25%. What we're proposing is 33%. And that includes the shed and the pool and decking area.
Okay.
There's also a setback and side yard for the, when I say shed, I mean that side garage. And there's 10 feet, and this one's right on the line. I'd like to have Mr. DeFinis testify, if I may, as to
Sure.
the circumstances surrounding everything.
Yeah, could you-
This-
when he-
This is kind of the reverse situation of the previous case. Previous case, the pool and the shed were put in by the prior owner.
Right.
In this case, the pool and the shed were put in, I keep you saying.
Yeah, garage.
Garage.
Yeah, could we get a little history of when the house was bought, what condition it was in?
Exactly.
And the timeline, basically.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. DeFinis, when did you purchase the house?
1993.
Talk into the mic.
1993.
Move it closer to
Move
you.
it closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speak
There
up.
you go.
1993.
Like you're yelling at your kids.
I got you.
There you go.
And the improvements that you're speaking of,
Any
the pool,
phones?
when was that put in?
The pool was put in approximately 99 to 2000.
And the addition to the pool,
And it was done in the early 2000s, maybe 2002 or 3.
okay. Now, what about the garage that was,
Everything happened around the same time. Maybe the garage was, say, 2005.
okay. Now, you didn't get any permits,
I did not.
okay? What was the reason for that?
Actually, I did call the town and told the woman that what I was doing, and she told me, I'm fine, just do what you need to do. I told her I was making my deck bigger, and she said it was fine.
And do you know who that was?
I do, actually. She doesn't work here anymore.
Just so I understand this,
Go ahead.
you called the town hall.
I did.
Spoke with somebody in the construction office. and told them
Correct.
you're building a garage.
I told her I was adding on to my garage because it was always wet over there, and she said, "Is it wet anymore?" And I said, "No." And I said, "To tell you the truth," she goes, "How's your neighbor feel about it?" I said, "He could care less. He doesn't care what I do. It's making it look nice." So she said, "Okay, do what you got to do."
And no building permit? They said,
No,
very interesting.
yeah, it's not like that anymore. But I think a long time ago, people overlooked quite a bit, Jerry. Right?
Now, if we look at the application, there's pictures here. If we look at the,
Yeah.
okay. Is that the front of your house?
Yes.
Okay. And is this an overview of the side of your house?
Yes.
I mean, overview of the
Yes.
whole house and pool. Now, and this kind of addresses the issue of substantial impairment to the public good. Do you have any rear neighbors?
I do not.
Okay. And what about on the right side? Is there a neighbor on the right side here?
The neighbor's on the right, but he's very far away. There's woods between the two houses.
Okay. And they block the pool?
Yes, you
Okay,
can't.
the side of the
No one
pool
can see the
from
pool.
his house.
Correct.
Now, what about the garage that was added?
There's also a line of trees that run up the side there, so nobody really could see anything. I put a big tall pines in years ago, and they really grew very well, and it looks very nice there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the place looks beautiful. I'm not saying what we
Yeah,
did was.
this is, I'm referring to picture number 2 of the application. Now, just, have you had any problem with water runoff or anything?
No,
Now, around the pool, did you do some landscaping?
I put a stone bed around the pool.
Okay. And since the pool has been there, has there been any problem with water drainage?
No.
or anything like
It's
that?
above. It's an above-ground pool that we're talking about, just so everybody is clear. It's just above-ground pool.
And what about where the garage is, since you added the garage?
We don't have it, the whole town floods quite, when it floods, but we don't really have any water issues as far as like, water standing at all.
And how, your lot is, it's in the survey, it is 100
By 200, I think.
by 200?
Yeah.
Okay. And the back area in back of the pool is approximately, what, 50 or 60 feet
At least, yes.
from
Property
your
line.
rear of your property? And again, no neighbors in the back?
No,
And the only neighbor is on the one side here?
Correct.
Okay, I really have no further questions.
Does our planner have any questions?
Not at this time. I'm still,
Okay.
I may.
Any questions from board members?
Mr. Chairman, before we do that, could I just try
Sure.
to ascertain what exactly is
Yes.
being requested? Okay, so you guys aren't seeking any D1 or D3 variants, correct?
No, just
Okay.
C variances for the impervious coverage.
Right, 33% where 25 is permitted,
Right.
Ms. Max?
And the setback and side yard for the garage.
Right, so the westerly side yard setback for the garage, we
It's
have,
supposed to be 10 feet, it's on the line. Oh, by the way, did you ever speak to your neighbor, that's the neighbor there?
yes.
And does he have any objection?
No objections.
Okay. And in fact, you spoke to him prior to us making this application? too?
Yes,
And just for the record, as the board knows, we had to notify him because he
Right,
did
right,
200
obviously.
feet.
but we also have been neighbors for 33 years. It's not like we
Yeah.
don't know each other.
When you say that accessory apartment for your mother,
Yes.
or mother-in-law, where was that and
It
what?
was in a garage. I put it in the garage.
Oh, is that been taken out now?
We're not using it. It's not using it at all.
But
since-
what is it? What does it consist of?
It's just a garage. There's some cabinets and a stove. That's it.
Is that gonna be taken out?
If you'd like me to.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna give it up as that
Oh,
being,
yeah,
I
no,
would,
I have no
I would say
problem
one of
with
the
that.
conditions is
We
you
don't
take
use it
that
anymore.
out.
Listen, my mother
Yeah.
was there because I always helped my mother.
No, I understand.
And she passed away. Matter of fact, the 20th of this month will be a year, and we only advertised it. My wife said, maybe we can make some money. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I understand.
Right?
But if,
I planned on, and not to interrupt you, addressing that with the municipal court on Thursday, saying that he's gonna take the stove
fine,
and.
that's one of the things,
Yes.
because we want to make
I
sure
didn't
that,
want to address it here.
that it doesn't get used again like
No,
that,
no, no.
or next owner doesn't use it
Got
like
it.
that, so.
What's the issue with the municipal court, if you don't mind sharing that with us? What's happening there?
What happened and what started the whole ball rolling was there were no complaints as to the pool, as to the garage. His wife advertised the apartment for rent. And your construction official said, oh, wait a minute. And that's what brought him in. And then when he saw that, then he saw the other things, and that's why we're
Okay.
here for the impervious coverage and the side yard.
So the municipality filed some kind of
Right.
charge?
What happens is there's always a companion municipal court case, because in the event, let's say, he didn't remove the stove from the thing,
Yeah.
they can give you a fine
Right.
and make it in perpetuity, which is like $100 a day or $1,000
Right,
a day. I've
right.
seen it as much, I'm sure you folks have too.
So the issue is an apartment that's not.
That's right.
That's
Right.
the issue with the municipal.
Right,
Okay.
and when we opened Pandora's box, so to speak, that's when we found out that
So
we
you have
needed
all this
the-
other stuff that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
needed the variance.
Understood.
If I could weigh in, put my
Yeah.
municipal prosecutor hat on, because I do that sometimes. Typically, I don't know, I can't speak for the long-held municipal prosecutor, but typically, in my experience, the prosecutor will often try to get a defendant to try to remediate the zoning issues as a condition of, downgrading some of the charges or dismissing
Sure.
some of the charges, so that's probably why they're here now, and that municipal court case hasn't yet been resolved, but.
And I'm sure because of the recent ordinance in the town with Airbnb or short-term rentals. I'm sure, and that's probably what forced the monitoring of the websites.
And that's
So
why
that-
Ms.
that-
Naylor from your municipal court has been very cooperative too. She's held off the municipal court till
Yeah.
we take care of this
Okay.
first, so we can make a proper representation to the court, say, hey, look, we straightened out the,
Yeah.
the impervious coverage and the set yard, and we've taken out the stove in the,
The offending,
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you for that background. I just wanted to know what's happening here, okay.
I wanted to be as open as possible,
Sure.
because you're,
It's better
like
that
I
way.
said, your board, Ms. Kuntz and Ms. Naylor have been fantastic.
so, just to get it straight, once you take out those cabinets and stove, there's nothing else in there that would make it
Actually,
look.
I had the building inspector come to the house, and he said to me, you could put cabinets in your garage.
Right.
The stove's
but
gotta
the
come
stove
out. I
has
said,
to go-
okay. Yeah.
So
I
once
brought-
you
I let
take
him come
that
out.
out, it can be, it is a viable garage at that
Correct.
point. Okay.
Yes.
It has no bathroom, it has no walls, it has no.
No.
In
Okay.
fact, that's what it's being used as now, is a
I
storage.
keep, that's a
Okay.
storage unit, yeah.
And
Okay.
the roll-up door works?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a regular
door-
garage
Right,
door?
regular garage.
Not
Okay.
one that looks like a garage,
No,
but
it's
it
just a
isn't?
garage door, yeah.
Okay, just to have to ask.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, just.
Go ahead.
there's, Also technical variances, because this lot is in the special flood hazard
Right.
area, so there are variances required from our critical area
Right.
ordinance.
The whole thing's a critical area.
Right. So that including, sort of not meeting the setback from a critical area and for disturbing a critical area. So those are all, there are just two of them, but that would be
Yeah,
additional
you could
variances.
put a shovel in the ground, it's disturbing a critical area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, is there a shed has a deficient setback on the eastern property line, or to the eastern property line, I should say, 2.8 feet? I thought it was flagged in,
There's one that says it's on the property line.
that's the garage.
That's the garage.
That's the garage.
Excuse me.
Yeah, the shed in the rear.
Yes, it's an 8 by.
Oh, yeah, way back in the
Yeah.
right-hand corner. I see
That's
it.
got
The
a-
shed is exactly on the property line.
How big is the shed?
8 by
On the
8?
end of-
8 by 8,
Yes.
okay, so it's,
But it's still only 2.8 feet off the property line, it's gotta be 10. That's
Right.
Right,
It-
so,
And
So it actually is the shed and the garage.
two separate garages.
right.
Yeah, I
This
apologize.
says the
You're good.
shed violates the sideline setback of 10 feet. The shed is exactly on the property line.
That, I'm pretty sure that refers,
No,
it should
that's
be in the
referring
garage.
to the garage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I even got
Yeah.
confused.
Well, it says shed, that's why I thought it was a shed.
Yeah.
Is that their application?
Yeah, there's one that says garage and one says a shed on the same page, page 2.
Of the application? Hold on a second, let me see.
An enlarged deck in 13 to 16,
Yeah, it says the shed is,
and you bought the house in 93, so that's,
Yes.
so the shed
20
is
years
not,
later.
what you're telling us now, that rear shed is not exactly on the property line, it's
No, the
2
rear
feet off.
shed is not. The garage
Right, but how, what is the setback of the shed, exactly?
Shed is
2.8, it says.
2.8.
Okay, all right.
and 17 rear, so I think it's okay.
So it's okay for the rear, it's just the side?
Side.
Okay. And back there's all trees, there's no neighbors, no houses,
No,
no
it's all
back
woods.
there, okay.
So those are the 5 variances, the lot coverage, the setback for the garage, the setback for the shed,
Side setback.
and then the 2 related to development within critical areas.
Right.
Just those 5.
That's correct.
Okay.
While we're at it, I don't think I saw anything anywhere for the stepstones back to the shed. Since we're adding, we might as well add.
Okay.
How would that,
What's back?
You see, in this
Oh, yeah,
picture, you see the stepstones.
see that,
It's
yeah.
impervious coverage, from everything I've heard.
oh, does that count as?
Does it?
What is it,
I don't know,
slate,
20
slate?
feet, 50
It's
feet?
slate with grass in between?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just wanted to know what, I see that.
Gotcha.
Looks like somebody put a dotted line. I was
Yeah.
wondering.
I got it.
Is that included in your lot coverage already, the 33% that's proposed?
I don't think that was the problem. I think it was mainly the,
Yeah, but what he's saying is, each one of those slate pieces are considered impervious coverage.
oh, okay,
Was,
yeah, we better include them then, I guess.
then you gotta measure each one of them and
Yeah.
add it up, okay. Because even though they themselves, even though they're separated by grass, that, they constitute an impervious coverage.
I think my surveyor, when he did it, he included those in there in this 33% and 25%.
He did.
We'll need to know whether he did or he didn't, because we can't just.
Yeah,
maybe-
right, just double check that, because we can't give you, if we were so inclined to give you the variance, we'd have to, if we wouldn't know what the exact coverage was
Right.
unless,
If you want to give me the variance, I would pick up the slate to make it.
you would
Yes,
pick up
it's
the
only a
slate.
few pieces of slate in a row that I. doesn't
Okay,
really
so
matter.
we'll make that a condition, pick up the slate.
Yeah,
Okay.
and my
Fine.
plan is safe.
I think that's even better. That way you don't have to go out
It's
there
only
and tape
grass
measure,
anyway.
and measure each one of them and add it
Right,
up.
I got it.
If you don't, it'll make it easier to cut
I
the lawn.
agree.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's,
so-
is that if they're over 33, or?
No, he's just gonna
will.
pick up the
He's gonna
slate.
Just taking them out.
He's gonna remove the slate, so they're not an issue.
Okay.
So you have less impervious, however that might be.
Let's just say,
Yeah.
it might be prudent to request 33 just to be safe.
Yeah, right. I dealt with somebody out and measured each one of those.
You never know, there'll be a couple pebbles out there. You
Yeah.
come up and-
Okay. Any other questions?
I-
Yeah, okay. Do you have any?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Actually, hold on, I think
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, our board engineer, Joe Viewed, she
Yeah.
mentioned that they would need to get all outside agency approvals. These are suggested conditions. You would need to approach, you guys would need to approach NJDEP to conduct a pre-application meeting to affirm absence or presence of wetlands. Is that really applicable here? Is that a carryover on my end?
Well, you mentioned it's a critical area, so it's
Yeah.
in, well, I don't know wetlands, but it's in a flood area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be, I'll double check, it could be on like NJ GeoWeb that it shows wetlands, but let me double check.
Yeah. But if that's something you guys will need to do, you would comply with that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you comply with all his conditions to
Yeah.
the extent they're applicable.
Yeah, I had spoken to Mr. Bush on that, and he said, he said, to tell you the truth, with how long everything has been there, you know, the pool.
Yeah, right.
The garage and all.
Right.
Said it's really not, it's.
Yeah, but just in case, because that's out of our control. You still have
It's
to.
also different than what his writing says.
Right,
So I
right.
think the writing should supersede anything else, should that or not, or no?
What writing we talking?
Well, he has in here, he has conditions that he wants.
The only ones that are actually conditions, at least that I picked up, was just 4 in general, because that's all outside agency approvals.
Yeah, that's.
Right.
that's
Yeah,
what he
that's
has.
what we're talking
Yeah,
about,
and then
yeah.
Yeah,
4.2. But other than
Sorry,
that,
somebody just testified that he said it's okay.
No.
I'm saying
We,
if it says here,
we,
goes not here, we have to go by what.
exactly.
Okay.
No, exactly. That's
they
what
said
we
they
said.
comply to the extent it's applicable, so
Right.
it says they don't.
They're
need to
gonna
show-
comply with that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, so they're good.
I think what Joe was saying, it shouldn't be a problem complying with that, but
Oh,
they still have to do that.
I understand.
All right, any other questions? No, okay.
Just finishing up.
And just for the note, there's no one from the town.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Noting, I don't see anyone from the public, not including the person from the esteemed paper. We don't have any public, so I'm gonna close it to the public. All right, now, any other information you wanna tell us?
No, that's about it. I think that covers everything.
I'm just asking, you have the 3-car garage with the 3 garage bays.
Correct.
One of them is storage, the other 2 have cars in them?
I could put cars in them, I don't.
Oh, they're mostly...
I have my tools, snow blower,
Okay,
lawnmower, yeah.
mostly storage,
Yeah.
okay. What do you put in the shed?
A couple pool toys,
Pool stuff,
like
basically.
stuff from the grill.
Okay,
It's not a
outdoor pool.
big shed, it's just
Okay, no,
outdoor
I
stuff.
understand, I'm
Yeah.
just curious what you,
Yeah.
okay. So, it's stuff that is more readily available to pool and...
Yes.
And lawn stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
And also, see, the snow blower being in the front, you know, it.
For the driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
it's hard to get from the back.
Sure. All right, is there, you want to give us a little rendition of the positive and negatives and why this?
Well, as I indicated through his testimony, as far as the pool goes, there's no rear neighbor. The side neighbor, the only one that would be able to see the pool is, can't really see it because of the woods that's on the right side.
Okay.
As to the garage, the only objection to that being on the line is, would be the neighbor there, and as he said, he's not only spoke to the guy.
And they're
he's
not here,
even here.
right.
As to the shed in the back, there's no neighbors in the back, and it's all woods. If we look at picture number 1
Right.
on our pictures, oh no, picture number 2, which is the aerial view of everything, it's surrounded by woods. So really, it wouldn't affect any of the general public.
Okay. So that's the positive aspect. What about negative criteria? How are you going to satisfy that?
Negative is, he put some things in that he should have gotten permits for. He would have probably got the permits.
Okay.
You know, I mean, that's,
He would have got variances, not just permits.
well, he might have had to get a variance, especially on the sideline,
For the garage, yeah.
But it probably wouldn't have been a problem even at that time, because the only objector, if any, would be the neighbor there.
Right. Oh, what made you go from a round pool to an oval pool? What was the,
Just changed it.
okay, did one wear out? Did one?
It got old.
Oh, it got
Yeah,
old,
It got old,
okay.
and, I just figured we just
Okay.
change it up a little bit, but
All
that's no rhyme or reason, just changed it.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Any last minute questions? Anything?
Do you want me to, technically members of the public.
Yeah, no members of the public. I'm closing it. No, I said that. There was no member. Nobody snuck in the meantime.
Nobody's sleeping behind the
No,
trees back there.
no. Okay. Tom, would you like to start the deliberation?
Okay, I'll start my deliberation off, much as Mr. Aronio started his off. We have a problem in this town with people coming up to us and having to get absolution from us after making a change or two. Unfortunately, you made many changes. I don't know where my head's at right now. I'm still thinking about it, but I looked to it and said, well, you were forced to come before us, and you are here. You're diligent about that, I suppose. It's fortunate that your neighbors didn't show up to complain. The biggest problem here is building a garage right on the boundary line. I think anybody would have known you can't do that. At this point, I'm really not sure how I'm going to what conclusion I will come. I will listen to the rest of my colleagues.
Okay, Paul?
Being that he's a longtime resident of town, over 30 years, and again, not any complaints, and unfortunately, your wife had to put that in the paper and blow this whole thing up for you.
I got you.
But it's good that it did happen because it made it all come out.
I
and
got it.
And
You'll be good if you
he
ever go to sell the house or something, it'll all be taken care of one way or the other.
He came and retained me like immediately.
Yeah.
Once Ms. Kuntz indicated that there had to be, there was no like, hey, wait a minute, I did
Yeah.
this 25 years ago, what the heck do I gotta pay?
Right.
And, he retained me right away. I contacted Ms. Kuntz, got the process going.
Right.
But
The only stall is that for the April meeting I thought I might need a planner, and then when I discussed it with a planner, I didn't need it, so otherwise I'd have been here in April.
Okay.
Right. Again, it's not like he just moved into the neighborhood a month ago and he started doing all these changes and no one's aware of it. His neighbors know about it. The water issue, my little girl plays softball right down the street, and I know there's water, always laying in the creeks there and stuff like that, so I mean, it wouldn't help you to put dry wells in or anything like that, it would just flood anyway, so I think I would probably go along with this.
Alex?
I'm just as torn as some of the other people. It's like, at what point do we, say bad behavior is bad behavior? I'm struggling with this one.
Well, if you don't mind, Mr. Zastrowski, just from a legal perspective, you're supposed to treat these applications as if it's first impression, right? So you
Right.
can't really hold it against him whether or not he did,
Yeah,
for doing it without permits, but at the same time, you judge the proposal based on its merits, right?
on its merits, right,
So
right.
that's
So, yeah, keep that in mind, don't,
something to keep in
But thanks for that clarification, I appreciate that.
So what you're saying is, would we have approved this, had this came to us?
without being built.
Right,
Yeah.
so would you have approved everything you
Yes.
see here?
Right, right,
That's
right,
maybe.
right. Jerry?
Again, I'm struggling also, but knowing the flavor of this board, I think that we probably would have approved this, maybe with some minor changes. Perhaps the setback of the garage would be something more reasonable than 0. Whether it's 5 feet or 6 feet or something like that, I think that would be it. The coverage, I think we would probably approve. We probably had some planting, some screening, which you've already done on your own, so I think that negates that. Again, I struggle with it as well, but I think that, knowing this board, I think we would have approved that application. Maybe slightly different than it is right now, but I do believe that we would have done it now. We can't go back and change it, right? And if the board doesn't approve it, Chris, I think that, what's the remedy? I mean, we tear everything down?
Essentially.
Right?
Essentially,
So
yes.
that's not reasonable either. I mean, it's just, and we talk about positive versus negative. I mean, like, does that outweigh the negative? And I think it does. I think it's not reasonable to tear down the garage. And maybe it is at some point, but right now I'm not there, so.
So, if a neighbor came in and complained, we
Yeah.
probably would,
If the whole
Not
town
go
was
along.
here complaining, saying.
even if one neighbor came in, we probably wouldn't go along with it, correct?
Yeah, we've had neighbors complain and we've had issues and it's just a question of balancing.
I agree with you,
You know,
Jerry.
those
I
things.
think that's what we've done. We've done a good job of that, and appeasing the neighbor.
Yeah.
whether it's Through screening.
Right.
Or increasing the setback.
Right,
We've-
like the guy on
we've made it work.
Colton Road.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
that-
made it work.
yeah.
We made it work. So unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity here, but there were no neighbors here. So
Right.
There's nobody saying,
Right,
I don't want that garage. So
right, exactly.
To be completely objective, I think that I would have approved it, at the beginning. Perhaps, maybe I would have wanted more of a setback, and I would have wanted some screening between him and the neighbor where the garage is.
Yeah,
We can't do that.
right. Are you
So
done?
I'm not gonna be in favor of tearing it down either.
Yeah,
It's just
I
not-
understand.
it's a not
I
for me.
understand. I feel the same way Jerry does. Although looking at the photograph here, I don't think you could have set it back anymore and still had it a garage because unless you took a foot off it maybe, but there's not much, 6 feet you would have had a half a garage. So that being said, it almost, building it as a garage would have had been on the line. Is it something we encourage? No. Is it something we appreciate? No. Is it something we try to make people understand they shouldn't do? Yes. But every case is unique. Every case has its own positives and negatives, and seeing the neighborhood here, the neighborhood is a different. It's an eclectic neighborhood. It's a different type of houses. They're not all cookie cutter houses. They look different. It's not offending the look of the neighborhood that I can tell. The neighbor is not here ranting and raving about the garage. The house is not that close to the line, the next door house, as you can see from one of the photographs. As Jerry said and everyone else said, it's not the best thing in the world to have more coverage, but in this case, it doesn't appear to be adversely affecting the neighborhood when it comes to flooding. It doesn't seem to be adversely affecting the neighbors in any manner. It makes the house more useful. You have a 3-car garage. you've agreed to take out the stove and not make it a living area. You've agreed to remove those those little steps going to the shed, somewhat eliminating some of the coverage. So, me personally, do I like this type of thing? I don't like to see it, but at the same time, I think we would have been accommodating you if you would have come before us originally in some manner to do this. So I would be in favor of giving you the variance just to leave it this way with the conditions that I just stated.
Thank you.
So, you know, I know some of the hesitations my board has, and that's their prerogative. I don't force people to vote one way or the other. But I think, you know, I'm glad that you did come before us because you have to clear these things up. If this house were to get sold, you'd be giving the next buyer, the next owner a headache if you didn't clear this up. So this is a way to do it. You know, regardless of how it came before us, I think it's a good thing that we're on top of this and we see now what's going on and we can make it legit.
Thank you.
So, all right.
Can I have another question?
Sure.
I'm just looking at the picture number one, the front-facing one, and above the garage, along the roof line there, I'm seeing what looks like a chimney
A chimney?
or a smokestack.
I put heat in there. I have heat,
In there.
yeah.
So,
And the building inspector said I could have that. He said, you could have heat in the garage.
Oh, yeah, you can put it
Yeah.
in your garage.
I was just wondering if
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. It was
I actually
something-
don't even turn anything on because there's no reason for it. So it was for my mother, but
Mhm.
now it's not being used.
And the stove will be out before Thursday.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have, my prior owner put heat in the garage. It's not a living area, but he stuck heat in the garage.
So there's a bathroom there too, right?
There was.
There was.
Yeah.
You took that out, too?
Well, it was upstairs. It has a little loft there. I have it there, but I disconnected everything.
Okay.
because I didn't want it to freeze over the winter.
But it still exists, just the water shut off.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But the building inspector also said you could have a
Yeah, I'm not
bathroom.
asking
in
you.
Yeah, you can have a bathroom in there,
Yeah,
too.
no.
If it was
I
It
would-
wa- it was
honestly,
permitted.
you can't even stand in it. It's pretty,
Yeah.
you know.
It was the stove is what made it,
Right,
yeah.
right.
The bathroom would also need to be permitted, no? In a new building?
We did.
It was never-
Yeah.
That was never permitted, correct?
No, nothing was permitted.
So we have to
Okay.
also add.
That's a condition of Joe's
Yeah.
memo. He has to get all the outside agency approvals. That would include building.
That would include that?
construction.
Right,
Okay, thank
the
you.
permit for the bathroom.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
good.
And if you do understand that if it somehow doesn't pass permit, you may be required to take it out.
I'm not gonna keep it there anymore.
You're not gonna keep the bathroom
No,
there.
it's not being used for that anymore. Why bother?
Oh, so you're gonna take the sink and the
Yeah,
toilet out?
everything will come
Okay,
out.
fine, then that's a condition, you're taking
Yeah.
the bathroom out.
Yeah.
Fine, so that's a
The only
no-brainer.
reason he had it there initially was for his mother.
I understand.
Yeah.
The only reason we're saying this is because if it's there, then we have the possibility someone's gonna use or misuse it. So now it's gonna be taken out, you don't have any
Correct.
issues, the water lines are gonna be capped,
I'll
and
close it,
it's
yeah.
not a bathroom.
Correct.
Okay.
By the way, what line of work are you in?
I do this work for a
Oh,
living.
you do? Okay.
Yes, this is what I
So
do, yeah.
that's why I can guarantee it'll be done. 'cause
Yeah.
I'll be calling.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine. I mean, that alleviates that issue. And the fact that it's now a pure garage with no possibility of anyone living there.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone want to say anything else before we make a motion? or-
My questions are answered.
Okay.
Want me to summarize? Mr.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
please.
All right, so the
Yeah,
applicant
yeah,
here
might
is
as well.
seeking no D variances, but 5 bulk variances, one for lot coverage, 33% proposed, where 25% is the max permitted. Next is the westerly side yard setback proposed by the garage, 0.64 feet proposed, where 10 feet is the minimum required. Next is the easterly side yard setback proposed by the shed, 2.8 feet proposed, where 10 feet is required. Two separate variances that I won't even, I'll attempt to understand. One is for the location of improvements within a critical area, and then another for the principal building setback being deficient to a critical area. Those are deviations from sections 142A and 142D of the ordinance. As far as conditions go, the applicant has agreed to comply with everything in board engineer Vuch's memo dated April 11th. That's that they're going to obtain any and all outside agency approvals that are required and approach the engineer if this is still applicable to conduct a pre-application to confirm the presence of absence of wetlands.
hear anything anyway.
We have a little issues with our.
We have a haunted microphone system or something.
It's gonna be in our
Okay, there
budget.
you go.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, I
good.
don't know what I did, but. I'm
You
not
did it
touching
good.
Okay, good.
Okay,
All right.
so other conditions, the applicant will eliminate the bathroom and the stove from the garage. The garage shall not host a residential apartment unless further relief is granted by this board or such use is otherwise permitted by the ordinance. The garage, oh, no, I'm sorry, that's a question. The applicant will remove all these slate,
State
step-
slate
Jeez, staff,
walkway.
the slate walkway, there you go, leading to the shed, and I believe that's it. I didn't see any conditions in Liz's memo, so I will, yeah, right? Did you have any?
No, I had
You're
no
good?
conditions.
Okay.
Did you reference Joe's,
Yeah,
Oh,
I said
you
it
did, I'm
again.
sorry.
Yeah, that was before we had the
Yeah, yeah.
microphone
Yeah,
spazzing.
he talks fast.
I know,
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Aronio,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Zadrowski,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf,
Yes.
Thank you.
and Chairman Grant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for
Thank you
being
very much.
accommodating.
I
and
appreciate that.
Good luck with it.
And don't worry, I'll stay on them.
Okay.
It's tough to know you need
know
to
the
get a permit
prosecutor
for
will.
something you don't need to, no, you need to get a permit
We're both
for.
orange, so we go back.
I'll report back to AM tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, thank you very much. And again, thank you for everything.
thank you.
God bless everybody.
Thank you.
She
Take
has
care.
a tip cup.
Yeah, tips, yeah, no. Oh, my God, really? Oh, that's bad.
That's the worst.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's not a good
Need
thing.
that happening here.
I told my doctor, turn my doctor down.
All right, Deb, what's coming up? Can you give us a little background?
So July 15th is the only one early meeting in the month of July. We had a gentleman from 25 Doherty who will be here.
For what?
Impervious
What do you
coverage.
think?
Impervious coverage.
Yes.
Already existing or?
Anything to do with the
Existing.
driveway?
A little bit over.
Driveway.
Over what he got approved for, so.
Paul, are you 200?
I'm sorry?
Are you 200?
200,
200 feet from 25?
I actually live there, yes.
That's your,
Yes, yes,
That was close to you.
Yes.
Is that-
Centimeters.
okay.
So, yeah, I'm
I'm
actually
trying-
in the middle of it.
Oh, you're trying to finesse that?
State the obvious, yeah.
Okay,
Sure,
all right,
you or Andy.
okay, all right. Is that the only application?
Yes, and then we're gonna do,
The
Annual report.
annual report?
I have an additional one now. I think we need to look at the density modification subdivision.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. Yeah, that might be another one to put in there,
Yeah.
modify it so we can look at it.
Yeah.
well,
Because-
and just to remind the board, so, you know, a little background is what happens in zoning. Whether it's somebody who gets caught, or in many situations.
Buys it that
And
way.
Mr. White is not the only one. What happens is when you have a variance, you have to do an as-built.
Right, and it gets
And-
built a little differently.
Correct, and sometimes, unfortunately, that comes in a little over what they expected, so.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If I
that
could
could-
add, especially if it was years ago, it was totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, the township engineer, Greg Williamson at the time, he come out with a measuring stick, yeah, it's close, whatever, you know, okay, and they proved it. Now you put everything in you need it, and you're like, wow.
I
You
know,
it's
I know,
all-
yeah.
Well, again, back then it was different, you
Yeah.
know. Like
They
this
got
gen-
more precise
I had to
for
laugh
it.
because when this gentleman was saying things was different. They sure were 20 years ago, because when I did mine in 2002,
Yeah.
believe me, it was more,
Well-
Dawn Wolf was in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And it was pretty lenient.
Let's not get too far into the other.
Yeah, let's not
application.
Right,
justify it.
exactly. I was just
I'm
gonna
not- I'm
say
just
that.
saying, 20
No,
years
no,
ago,
no.
20 years ago,
That's fine.
how can I say, we didn't have Google Earth, we didn't
We're
have
talking
the,
in general.
yeah, in general.
In general.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we didn't have Google Earth,
All
things
right.
like that, it's all different.
Okay, what's for August? Is there anything?
Well, August, so literally within the last week, I got 5 new applications on my desk, so I don't know
Oh
what's going to
my,
be in August.
oh my, really?
Yes, so, the August meeting is August 19th.
Okay,
We do have one scheduled, and I don't ask me because I don't remember.
okay, that's fine.
Because it's been a while, but, yeah, so there are 5 new applications for the board sitting on my desk. that,
Wow.
We
You
talking,
know, if I can get a few into the August, we will, and then
Okay,
push to September.
September,
we
okay.
talking residential, commercial?
All right, one may be, I think one is commercial,
Okay.
Okay,
but the rest are all
In
residential.
August, it's commercial? No, we don't know.
No,
yeah. That's residential, okay.
yes, the August one is, the current one that's scheduled for August is residential.
Okay. All right, okay, lets us know what we're up for. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 8,